Why, hello everyone. It's been a long time in the making on this one. Now, this I suppose would be The Lost Souls Episode 4. Now, in the style of the previous three, first some music, then some talking, then some more music, and now some more talking because more explanations are owed. Now, so long ago, I should start in order of operations if I can. I remember so long ago, someone who was almost despised amongst the technical Minecraft community. I liked him. I liked him just because I did. Yendrik, Jewy37. He had shown me what he was doing on his single-player world, a 1.7 world, and he was telling me about how he was making Podzol using a strange device. And it was so very interesting. It caught my attention so very quickly. And I loved everything that I learned. Also, I saw a similar concept. Little lady named Mary Diana. Perhaps everyone else knows her as Lapis Demon, or Lapis Demon Mary. She also had an interesting idea. She saw so many unused portions within the game that she wanted to reskin towards making so many interesting things, like the old lapis texture, with its smooth and connected borders. Not a tile block, but a smooth river-like flowing jade. So many. And then came, even further on down the road, my buddy Smokey Dog. One of the first to find me off in the middle of the nowhere. He, KK, and Ray, the three of them, I absolutely loved every last moment that we spent together. It was heaven. They even showed it to me once. It's difficult to show an atheist heaven and have him drop to his knees. But all to the same, they all showed me little things, giving me hints about the future and what I could do. Things that you couldn't do under normal circumstances. For example, Smokey's big plan towards teaching me was basically in showing me that in Beta 1.9 pre-release 3, you could get the End Portal Frame item. And you could get it just by finding an end portal in your world and blowing it up, sacrificing it towards the goal. Oops. And then in Pre-4, there was another little thing where you could pick up the mob spawner and a forever burning furnace and so many other things. So naturally, I busied myself with not only collecting one of each to begin with, but also using a method that I had discovered all on my own, that was unlike any other method that anyone had ever shown, to duplicate them, and to fill my inventory with things that I could not normally have. For example, this infested stone. I can only pick it up in this version, Pre-4. This double slab. I can only pick it up in this version, Pre-4. Let me go ahead and put the two of them back. And then let's get on to more sets of 3. But before we get on to those sets of 3, I should talk about friends. Like Captain Solo and Blue Crab, Jan Matula, Pineapple, and Puffinfish HQ. Puffinfish has already shown everything that I could have shown much better, much faster, much quicker. Pineapple has already discovered far more than I could ever have discovered. And yet I do believe that at this point in time, though I don't plan to reveal it all, I do plan to show that I at least do know it all. Now, one of the cute little things in my world is some of the stuff that you just can't see. You just can't see what these wood are. You just can't see what so many things are. You can't see those 4 blocks of wood out there, those 4 bark blocks. In fact, I would go so far as to say that you can't even properly see my Menger sponge right now, because it's missing an entire another dimension within itself that you simply cannot see because time has not come to pass. How did I make these things, you may ask? This tiny little add-on. A simple device. I learned it from CubFan. Is it CubFan135? All I need to do is just place my bucket of water next to one of these wool corresponding with the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Now you know that I have at least a first grade education. And CubFan designed the device. I did nothing more than just stick it onto the side of my thingy doodler so that I could work more efficiently. Because after all, things like brown wool in my world are harsh and hard to come by, because cocoa beans, as Ray has explained, are not easily found in this version. They're only found inside of dungeons. Now's where I get to more sets of 3. These are all of the sets of 3 in a way. We'll start at the far right-hand side, the Forever Burning Furnace, the Forever Lit Redstone Ore, and the Forever Lit Redstone Lamp. These 3 items, I can indeed have them inside of an inventory. I think that all of these here are lit redstone ore. And simply said, I do believe that all 3 of these items share a characteristic, which is that after 1.7, if they are not placed as an item in the world, they will be destroyed, ultimately, and no longer exist. Now, you can't make them through normal means also, because I do believe that they're a distinct different block ID. I don't know 100% on that lit redstone lamp, but I know for 100% fact on these 2 that they're a different block ID and not a different damage value. Now, by damage value, or data value, depending on who and when you ask and who's providing the information, basically attributes to which color of wool you see in front of me. And the most common item to show everything properly are glass, clay, and wool. The stained versions of those carry all 16 colors. And then we jump back over onto the far left-hand side again. Well, actually, hit this one more time. These 3 I could, using a variety of methods, including the water method and also Jan's method, which I colloquially and affectionately call the wool method. You could create these 3 blocks in your world. However, I don't know necessarily how easy it would be to get them up off of the ground and inside of a chest. Now we'll jump back over onto the far left-hand side of the model after I get done touching this one, which of course are going to be 1.7 and no, I'm going to hit this one. Now, in the version I'm in, 1.9 pre-4, beta, beta 1.9 pre-4, I can use the water method to create these 3, the funny log, the circle brick and the any color slab, which includes the top slab, which if in, at least in this version, if I place this top slab on the ground somewhere, such to make a double block, it will make the corresponding colored seamless block out of this one's nether brick and this one's quartz, out of these ones. And they'll gain their colors later. However, I'm under the impression that once they've gained their color and appearance and I've left this version, I can no longer place the seamless double slab using these top slabs. And I can also no longer place the funny log, which is I can't remember who named it that way, but I love the name. The funny log. What's funny about it is right now they all look the same, but if I place them in the ground in the world, they won't. You know, the X, Y, and Y, X, and Z logs, and then the bark blocks. For these last four. Of course, following the oak, spruce, birch, jungle pattern over and over again, 4 times. Now, I can place those in the world, as I've done over there, next to the tree, those 4 that I'll never touch. And also that, squatty umbrella tree thing over here? Oh, where are you? And then, of course, I've also placed all of the seamless double slab as pillars right here. That is what these are. And, of course, I've been referring to this as sandstone, as well as that is sandstone, as well as on my melon pumpkin barn, and this is sandstone. And these are bark blocks. Not all of them, not even a third of them, maybe a third of them are oak, but they're everything except for birch, perhaps, and I considered putting a stripe of birch like a piece of deadwood up the side, but even that, how much can you do? How much time does one man have? I've done my best to place everything, every last block, everything, every alternate, somewhere in my world. Everything. Now, let's see here. The funny log, the top slabs, the circle brick, I guess that also includes mossy and cracked. And then these ones here, technically I can create in this version, just like these ones here, but they are difficult to pick up, in that I can't really pick them up until maybe full release, maybe 1.2, maybe 1.3, depending on which block it is. I can create them, though, particularly these 2 in this version, elsewhere, using Jan's method, whereby which I will use a piston with a color of wool on its face to break a torch, which will provide an update to a budded piston, which has the block to be damaged, consuming the wool, will be the one that is in front of the piston, which will receive an update from the breaking of the torch. Similar to the water method, but it's hairs of difference to the point that it's almost the same. I'll get into the thing about the leaf block later, and now we'll finally touch on this last bit, which is going to be the red sandstone, the quartz, and the wooden slab, which will be unlike the stone slab. And I want to go ahead and get the rest of them as well. And the main reason why on almost all of these is I do believe that for positive in 1.12, the majority of these, if they manage to survive and are placed inside of an inventory somewhere that they can survive, and manage not to get updated incorrectly at any point in time, which may potentially involve me not coming back here through some period. I don't know. I have to go through all of the levels of the experiment to find out, because there is quite a few differences in some of the things. However, I'm under the impression that so long as I have them inside of a chest somewhere, and they don't get deleted from chests like these three will, then they should survive and become one of those very rare and precious no-texture blocks. Like the cactus that Smokey showed me, which I affectionately dubbed Smokey's boxing glove. It was just a no-texture cactus that he told me that he got in 1.9 from an Enderman. And naturally, when I heard that, it was like, maybe that's the solution to some of the ones which I have trouble with thinking about. Like the hay bale, the pumpkin, the grass, the flower, the sapling, the vine. Like, I have difficulty trying to figure out how to get the fancy no-texture versions of those as well. Which is the reason why I think I need to run a bit of an experiment and find out if the Endermen can pick up some of the blocks for me that I do believe I can create, and get them to drop them with their IDs, because if they will, then that gives me another very marvelous quest. Oh heavens, does it ever. Of course, I do look forward to updating. I'd like to add a lot of brown wool into the top portion of this, as though it were dirt. You know, undirt. And maybe some green wool, as though it were grass. Ungrass. You know what I mean to say, yes? So have I showed it all? Have I showed it all? Have I said it all? Have I said it all? Have I said too much? Probably. But that's okay. Because after all, I wasn't necessarily looking to make anything in the way of secrets. All I was doing was completing the collection. Completing the collection. For so very long. So many years. In fact, a great majority of this I've almost forgotten about because of how many years ago I did all of it. But still, I didn't stop, because there were a few little missing pieces. Just little pieces of the puzzle. Now, if memory serves, the way that you get these is there's going to be 4, which means that one of them is the standard that you get from just shearing up a leaf, and then one of them has to be after you've placed one, and then silk touching it back up. Which means that another one probably is from breaking a leaf tangentially next to one of them, while it's either on a tree or on the ground, and also silking it up, so that you would have the check for decay tag from a nearby leaf recently being broken. Yes, yes. I'll have to check to be sure, but I've got forever. Forever. I may be lost. We may be lost, but we're not forgotten. We're together. Even if you don't like it, we'll always be together. We've always been together. Little lost souls. All of us. You, me, him, them. Forget about the drama. Once it's all over, Feel free to come back. I swear, it's all forgiven. No one will ever mention a thing. Take care.